Alright, at the 9 o'clock position here on Metalopolis, we have Fnatic.Nightend spawning as our blue Protoss player. He has taken 2 games from his opponent's team over here at the 3 o'clock position. That is Killer from Team Dignitas, our yellow Zerg player. Incredible South American player as well, and did really, really well in the Latin American BlizzCon Invitational. Actually finished second, I believe. I believe it was Major and then Killer's 1-2.
It was Major and Killer. Major took first place, Killer took second place. Still means that he qualifies, though, so he will be representing Latin America at BlizzCon in Anaheim this year, which, by the way, guys, I will be going.
Yeah, and now I'm going, too.
Are you going out, too?
I got a ticket.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, hey, that month is going to be Atlantic City
on
October 6th to October 9th, MLG at Orlando the weekend after that, and then the weekend after that, we have BlizzCon. So it's a weekend after weekend after weekend, back-to-back StarCraft 2 action.
And if that's not enough...
No, my head's going to implode, man.
If that's
all
not
the StarCraft
enough,
2 awesomeness.
If you're in the Northeast area and you're like, I don't know, Orlando's pretty far away, you can go to IEM as well, the Invitational in New York. So there are actually 4 major tournaments in 3 weekends.
I can't be everywhere at once, guys. I don't know about you, but I have to skip out on IEM this time. Actually, I haven't been to an IEM yet, so I don't feel too bad about that. But I will be going to BlizzCon, MLG, and Atlantic City, which I think is going to be awesome. It's going to be some crazy StarCraft 2 funness throughout that month. October is StarCraft 2 month!
It is true. It is pretty ridiculous. Killer actually going after a Speedling build, going Extractor first, then Spawning Pool, not deciding to put down the 15 hatch. He is just going to get out a couple of links and drive away that probe. Probe knows exactly what's up, though, so Nightend going to get a pretty good scout here in just a second. We'll see by the timing on that Spawning Pool and where the Extractor is at that it is indeed a Speedling build. We'll see what he does to come back from this. My guess is going to be some variation of the 3-gate Sentry Expand, but he is showing us Pylon tucked away in the corner. We may even see a little bit of hidden tech.
Yeah, I honestly feel like for a Protoss player on this map, it's better for them to just 1-gate expand rather than 3-gate expand, because you can use those 2 additional gateways rather than throwing them in your main. You can throw them down on the low end to help wall off the front doors. So I don't really like the 3-gate expand for Protoss on this map as much on the high level, and we'll see if Nightend agrees with me to this point. As far as Dignitas.Killer goes, I agree with him not hatching first right away. I mean, when was the last time we saw Zerg hatch first against Protoss? It's very rare nowadays. So Killer is going for the pool and gas now. He's got 1 drone on gas, so he did get the speed right away. This 1 drone indicates to me that he wants to follow up that tech right away, and he's not going to go with some kind of ballistic, just mass sling build.
Yeah, certainly. And there's the Zerglings to go ahead and drive away that probe. Probe has exact timings on the hatchery, though, so Nightend knows exactly what's going to be coming out of his opponent. I don't know what sort of tech Killer is going to transition into. It looks like he's setting himself up for roaches. A lot of times I see this with just the 1 drone on the hatchery so that he can start a couple of roaches whenever the time comes before he fully commits himself back to gas mining. Nightend, on the other hand, he's got gateways number 2 and 3 coming up. Yep.
Interesting. Alright, so he's going to go for the 3-gate expand. Guess we're on 2 different pages, me and Nightend. We'll just have to see which way he goes with this. I mean, I would imagine he's just going to make a bunch of sentries. Does he have 2 gases running already?
Just 1, actually.
Just 1 gas. Is he going to 4-gate?
I don't know. Well, he's not going to be able to produce many sentries, as we see. This is a largely Zealot attack force that's coming out.
That's really
so it looks like this is going to be less a 3-gate expand behind sentries and more 3-gate offensive pressure designed to do damage with an expansion.
I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to go for here. He's probably going to have a lot more Zealots, as you said before. He's already got 3 Zealots now, and Chrono Boosting Warp Gate, and it does look like it is going to be an aggressive 3-gate, lacking sentries, more Zealot heavy, but he's also going to be getting that expansion, I would imagine, as well. And look at the evolution chamber coming up from Killer. He's really concerned about the possibility of any air or Dark Templar, so he's just getting that evo chamber right away. It'll serve to help him upgrade later on, and he's still got the 1 drone mining gas, and finally now throwing down the Roach Warren, so he is going to transition into Roaches.
Yeah, but he's going to have a pretty good potential here to do a very, very strong Roach attack. Just, 2 bays, whether it's plus macro hatch and he does some sort of roachling all in behind +1, or whether he techs up to layer and adds the 3rd down here at the bottom right. But
I'm pretty sure he's just getting that for defensive purposes. We do see a Spore Crawler coming up.
A little bit worried about some DTs, it looks like.
Yeah.
But we know that there's just a Nexus coming up with the All-Seeing Caster Eye.
The thing is, he saw the Zealots at the front door, and he was like, well, my opponent looks like he's 3-gate expanding, but why isn't he making enough sentries? So it looked really fishy to him, and that's why I think he threw down the Evo Chamber, just to be safe, because there was a possibility that there was a Twilight Council and a Dark Shrine coming up.
Yep, I agree. And Zealots are going to make their way out. We have 2 Spine Crawlers coming down as well. Did he cancel that Spore Crawler? I think he did. Actually, let me take a look at... it's not going to show up on Units tab or anything. Production tab doesn't show anything else anymore. There's
sure
quite a few Roaches, but here comes Nightend. Thought he was going to make his way in, but now these Speedlings are going to pursue the Roaches. Those Zealots are going to have to turn around in a second, or they're going to suffer a couple of losses.
The Zerglings need to be a little careful here. You don't want to engage and lose all your Lings either. You want to try to wrap around the Zealots, and is he going to be able to do it to pick off these 4 Zealots? The problem here is the Roaches don't have speed, so they actually can't chase down those Zealots, but it looks like Nightend, trying to get these little stutter step attacks, is going to end up losing all 4 of his Zealots, and he's still got a majority Zealot-heavy army at the front door. It's really interesting, and now he's transitioning into Blink rather than Charge. So he's going to try to go for Stalkers on top of these Zealots already. Really interesting play from Nightend.
Yeah, well, I mean, Blink Stalker is certainly going to be the response to the Roach Ling play that he sees on the field, but of course he's going to need a second gas here stat, and already the Zerglings swinging themselves in with the power of the Roaches at the front. We'll see if he has enough to reinforce to get in, and those Zerglings actually get all the way around. That means these precious Stalkers and Sentries are going to die right away. The Guardian Shield has disappeared. The last couple of Zealots are going to fall momentarily, and look at that, 20 more Lings coming up for Killer. He is just going to reinforce.
He needs to go for the probes. It looks like he's going to try to flank those units, and now he's going to have a free shot at the probes, which are now fleeing the crime scene. A pylon goes up, beautiful pylon by Nightend, preventing the Lings from running in, but that means these probes will have nowhere to run. So essentially, he blocked some of his civilians to save the rest of his civilians. I mean, I guess it's a morality issue right there, but he saves most of them. The Nexus is going to go down. It looks like more Lings flooding in, and Killer taking a huge... I'm going to say he won the game, man. I think he's got it.
Yeah, that was actually a really, really good play. Like you said, Nightend's going to find it extremely difficult to make his way back into this. Yes, he's producing on 3 gates. Yes, he's got Blink Stalker play already in store, but Killer looks so good at the moment. Yeah. And, I mean, he can do whatever he wants at this point. And we see a round of drones coming up. We see Roach Speed coming up, but there we go. Looks like he's going to go for the macro hatch route. I figure he could have just safely dropped down a 3rd hatch at the same time as well and gone to 3 base plus macro hatch. But no, he's in a position to do whatever he wants, really.
Well, the thing is, whenever you put an opponent into one base, you know immediately their mindset is going to be like, crap, I have to all in to win the game. So I think that's why Killer was like, you know what, I'll just be safe in macro hatch. I'm not going to expand away from my creep here, because you never know, DTs or something weird could be coming, which is what I would imagine Nightend's going to try to go for. But he is going for just a bunch of Stalkers now and Zealots, and he has Blink. So I think Nightend's just going to go for one powerful push here. He's going to try to win the game with that one push. Killer, without expanding to the 3rd, I think he's so much safer now, and I honestly feel like Killer's got this game in the bag, man. Look at the supplies, and it says the whole story.
Yeah, and it looks like Nightend's going to try and expand again, but that is going to be a case of too little too late. There's the 400.
Nightend always wins 2 games and then
and then loses, and then
Rain comes in.
Exactly. Then Fnatic goes through a couple more players, then Rain comes in and kills everyone else. Are we going to see the same thing here?
Have like a good Korean Zerg to play so I can talk about the Zerg?
But hey, man, you can talk about a pretty good Zerg right now because Killer is playing a very, very convincing game.
I just hope he wins against Rain if Rain gets thrown up next.
Yeah, that's true. That is a pretty tall order, I will admit.
I'm rooting for my Zerg brothers. But anyways, we have the Stalker Zealot push here. I like how Nightend's leaving some of his forces back. Actually, I don't know if I really like this, because, I mean, at this point, he's so all in. You might as well just pull everything and try to win the game, because if you try to play macro here, it's going to be such an uphill battle. You know, I just don't know if you can do it. But here comes Killer running around the backside with a bunch of Lings, going to try to go for the flank here, and Nightend leaving some forces behind is actually going to prove to be a big bonus here.
And here we go. This Nexus is going to be canceled. The Zerglings actually don't have +1 yet. The +1 is coming for missile attacks. And look at those Zerglings get away. They only lost 2 or 3 Zerglings. They're going to be able to run away without taking any more
Nexus
losses.
Breakfast.
Yeah, indeed. And the longer that goes down, the farther and farther that Nightend gets behind, as we have our 3rd base just about to pop up for Killer.
You know what's interesting to me?
I don't know.
Nightend hasn't gone for Dark Shrine yet. I mean, to me at least, anytime a Protoss player is set so far behind, it's like, might as well go for DTs because you never know if it'll work. You never know. I would imagine Killer here has a great Dark Templar setup in terms of defense. Does he have Spore Crawlers?
Let's see here. Well, I mean, he's got an
Evo chamber.
Lair.
He's got Lair.
He's got Lair tech, so
he's going to
have
have Infestors as well. I guess he's not too worried about DTs because he's so far ahead and he can get the detection for Dark Templar really quickly. But we're just going to have a big showdown here, and I would imagine Nightend is on the verge of GGing unless something miraculous happens.
Well, I imagine it looks like he's sticking out for one big engagement, but +2 is already on the way for these roaches. And I believe they have Burrow and Tunneling Claws as well. And there's no Robo up. In fact, it's just about to finish. So it's going to be a while before an Observer comes up, and Killer's really not going to lose that many roaches because they're going to burrow themselves. Nightend doing a smart thing, that's what I was about to say, pulling back to the cannon, so he has a little bit of detection, but that's about it, and that's going to go down very fast.
Yeah, it all comes down to whether or not Killer wants to commit right here. I mean, it's not the best spot to engage in terms of terrain, but in terms of how far ahead he is, I think he can afford to just sack all of his forces and just see what happens. Here he goes. He's going to attack the Forge, weaken it a little bit, just playing a little cat and mouse, trying to draw the Protoss forces away from the cannon. And I think he realizes at this point, you know what? I'm so far ahead. Whatever. Screw it. I'll just attack. And it looks like we are going to see what happens.
Yeah, Nightend had a pretty good engagement right there. Again, we're
his terrain is
delaying the inevitable. Those good force shields right there. He forced all of the Zerglings into a little bit of a choke point. So, a nice job on that front. Let's actually take a look. The Zerglings are making their way back to Killer side of things, and he's about to max himself on Infestor, Roach, and Ling. So
certainly staying true to his name, isn't he?
Yeah,
Killer.
Absolutely.
Just waiting for the right point in time to extract maximum damage and humiliation from his opponent. He's even going for Nero Parasite here. That is kind of cool. I mean, why not?
And take over a couple of probes, build his own Nexus.
Yeah, that'd be cool. NP's about to get the Uber nerf anyways. You can't use it against Colossus anymore, so you might as well get the most fun out of it now while he still can. And he's going to have NP. I don't know what he's going to do Nero Parasite, but it would be cool to see a probe NP.
Yeah, like and Killer taking full map control as well. His opponent only on 91 supply. Yeah, absolutely. We do have an Observer coming up as well. So finally, Nightend is going to have a little bit of mobile detection, but Killer just about to max himself.
And look at that Harvester count.
Yeah, 75
to 30. I have no idea how Nightend's going to win this. I don't even know why he's still in it. But you know what? I'm going to give him a little bit of a pat on the back because he's going to get the gold medal for participation here. And he did win the first 2 games, so never mind. He gets a little bit.
No, Fnatic's done really well. It's just this game, he was tripped up by Killer. Killer makes his way in, throws down a couple of fungal growths, but the Roaches hugging their opponents oh so well. Huge upgrade advantage, +2 to nothing. And Nightend is going to lose all of his units.
Here's the purpose of the scout, too. I mean, first of all, you want him to do good, and Nightend has done exactly that. He's won the first 2 games, and now you get to select from your team who you think has the best chance to defeat Killer, a Zerg player, and you've already watched how he plays based on this game. So everything here in terms of momentum, yes, it's swinging back to Dignitas a little bit, but Fnatic is going to have an edge as to who they pick out next to play. And there's the Nero Parasite. Saves the Immortal at the last second, turned to traitorous. It's actually slaying everything. And there's the smiley face GG.
And there we go. So congratulations, the Killer takes a game for Dignitas.